Hi, I'm George, the Weather Dad, to take a look at your upcoming Easter weekend and a sneak preview on into next week. Now, as far as temperatures are concerned, the warmest day is going to be Friday. Take a look at these temperatures. Remember, yellow's normal, and you can see a lot of nice warm colors across the eastern half of the country, with the exception of Great Lakes and everything towards the west. But you can see temperatures well above normal. We will see temperatures right here in the Ohio Valley, certainly into the 70s on your Friday. And it's also going to be a bit breezy because you see the difference between the cold and the warm. There's the storm system right there. It's going to be a pretty good sized system, so it's going to increase the winds, but it's also, again, going to bring up some of those warmer temperatures, spring-like temperatures. By Saturday, you kind of see it there pushing its way towards the southeast. This is where it's going to be the most active for us here over the weekend, right here in the Ohio Valley. Those of you out in this area, and I'll show you here in a minute, it's going to be a little bit more interesting for you. But you can see some colder air up in the Great Lakes, portions of the Midwest, but the southeast and the south and the east going to be nice and warm. But also watch what happens here on your Sunday. The frontal system sits right across maybe Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio Valley area, and that's going to make the forecast a little tricky for those Easter egg hunts on Sunday, because here comes another system. So that front's going to sag south, but this one's going to bring it back up towards the north, and also some warmer air. The bottom line here in all this, notice though, everything is kind of in this area of the country. This is where the battle zone is now starting to shape up, which means the jet stream again is moving from basically west to east. So cold fronts will have a hard time pushing its way further south, but then they're going to flip towards the north, but then they're going to wobble back and forth, which will keep us in some active weather pattern, but it's also going to keep temperatures not real cold or not real warm. We could fluctuate a little bit. You could get a couple hours of really warm and a couple hours of really cold, but overall it's going to average out pretty nice. Now, for next Wednesday, we're going to jump into next week just a little bit. Warm air sticks around across most of the eastern half of the country. The reason I'm showing you this is because we're now in the middle of April. And if you're like me, I'm itching to get my plants out into the garden so we don't have to cover them up if it gets really cold. I don't see any really cold air for the next couple of weeks pushing its way in. So I'm going to start planting some things and some warm weather crops into the garden with the hopes we don't get anything really cold coming on into the month of May, which of course could still happen. But I wanted to show you this because over the next week or so at least, temperatures are going to be well above normal or near normal, which puts us right around highs in the 60s and lows in the 40s, well above that freezing mark. So I'm going to get out into the garden next couple of days, or at least with this, I'm going to try to anyway. Precipitation-wise, here we go on Friday. Pretty quiet across the Ohio Valley. Great Lakes has some showers. There's that really big piece of energy that's going to, again, bring that front further south. Watch what happens. This is on Friday. Look how quickly it moves towards the east here on Saturday. We could see some isolated severe thunderstorms. I don't see a big outbreak at this point, but it's sitting right across the Ohio Valley. This is midday on Saturday. Then by Sunday, watch what happens here. Again, this is a 24-hour difference between what you just saw and what this is looking like now on Sunday. So on Saturday, you saw the line right there. So it's going to drop south, but this system is going to flip it back up towards the north. The question is, not are we going to see some showers around on Sunday for those Easter egg hunts? The question is, when are we going to see the greatest total of Easter egg showers here in the Ohio Valley, Cincinnati area? This area, of course, could see some severe weather, something we really have to keep an eye on. This is the warm front, there's the cold front, and it's going to be shifting its way up towards the north. So in this area, those of you are going to have Easter egg hunts, it looks like it could be a washout for you, but Cincinnati, Indianapolis points towards the east. We may sneak it in. I think midday will be somewhat dry, but there still could be a couple of showers around. The key is, when is that front going to move its way back towards the north? And it's going to be a game time decision from that standpoint. But I will tell you that the ground is going to be somewhat soggy. So you may want to consider having it inside anyway, because if the kids go outside and you have a soggy backyard, they're going to bring all that mud and water on into the house itself. So the bottom line is here, this is Easter Sunday. We could see some strong thunderstorms across northern Illinois, Indiana, and then points towards the west from that standpoint. So the bottom line is, again, temperatures are going to be pretty much okay. Showers, well, there will be some around over the next couple of days. Now, this is going to sneak again back into next week on Wednesday. Pretty dry, temperatures not bad, but we could see some severe weather in this corridor. But that's that next bit of energy that's going to move its way into the Midwest, and that could give us some severe weather. Not on Wednesday, but possibly on Thursday as well as Friday. But overall, fairly active weather pattern, mainly begin because we have what we call a zonal flow, things moving from west to east on a pretty quick clip. So there you have it. Have a great Easter weekend. I'm George, the Weather Dad.